I've been playing Sorare 26 limited competitions for the past few months, and I recently decided I'm ready to up the stakes. But I'm not playing rare, I'm playing super rare. Let me tell you why. The competition I've had the most success in so far has been Ligue 1 in France. Now, I played a lot of Ligue 1 cards last season when I played Champ in season, and given that that doesn't exist anymore in Sorare 26, I had to decide whether I wanted to play the league-specific competition. Now, I had played Contender in-season limited over the summer. I do that mostly with cards from Argentina and Mexico and not really the traditional European leagues. And so when I started to get into Sorare 26 and having to decide if I wanted to play the single league competitions, it was really, am I going to play Ligue 1? And before the season started, I was actually going to play in-season rare. And I played Champ Rare in season, and I liked kind of the dynamic of being able to pick players from France or Italy or Germany. And the elimination of Champion in season meant that I had to decide if I wanted to play one of the single league competitions. I ultimately decided to play Ligue 1 because it's a league that I have grown to enjoy. I like the teams. I like that there are a lot of players that go on to other teams and kind of get their footing in France first. But there are also some superstars teams like PSG who, won the Champions League last year. And so what I didn't want to do is just buy PSG players and just kind of jam my way in for the rest of going into streaks or the leaderboard. And I wanted to see if there was kind of basically a more value way into it. And while you do see some PSG players here, part of that is because I used winnings from my streaks to pick up players like Vitinha and Lucas Chevalier, who you see on the screen here. And I got up to the 4th streak and competed for the 5th, and unfortunately wasn't able to get to the 5th, so I came all the way back down. But as I was going through each step of the streak, it made me realize how much, like I said, I enjoy the league. And I had branched out into playing Challenger in season, and I did Bundesliga when the duos competition came out. And I've gotten to the point now where I did want to branch out and play more competitions, but I wasn't sure what I wanted to do. And I did end up buying a couple Contender in-season cards to play there, but I don't play La Liga. I don't play Premier League at all. And so if I wanted to play more, it was either take one of those leagues that I don't play or move up a scarcity and start to play maybe Ligue 1 Rare or Contender Rare or Challenger Rare. And I'll be completely honest that I was inspired by the journey that Harry Trades is going on in La Liga. Now, the way that he started is very differently than how I'm going about it. But if you don't watch Harry's channel or you're not a subscriber or a member, I highly recommend it. Just Harry Trades on YouTube. But I was inspired by him because he was building around a specific card, which is a Lamine Yamal super rare. Now, Harry won a Yamal super rare last year. It was a celebration card, really nice card, but he realized that he wasn't going to be able to take full advantage of that card in-season La Liga because he wasn't playing it at the time. And so using it in under 23 competitions where he won it, he didn't really need the in-season card. So he traded it. He got a classic Yamal super rare and decided this season that he was going to build around that in a La Liga super rare setup. And so, he bought a couple players. He recently brought in a Marcos Llorente unique card because when you play super rare competitions, unique cards not only allow you to have almost like a second classic card, but they also give you a reward boost if you happen to win. So I think Harry is one of the best Sorare players on the platform. He has an incredible ability to scout players and find values in places that frankly most of us can't. And so I'm going to attempt to follow his path, but in Ligue 1 instead of La Liga, because like I said, I have more cards from Ligue 1. It's a league that I follow a lot more than La Liga or the Premier League or the Bundesliga, as crazy as that sounds. And I already have kind of the foundation of research from my limited cards here, of which you can see I have a bunch that are really parts of collections of Paris FC, Monaco, Lille, Strasbourg. Those are kind of my main ones, and then kind of a sprinkling of some others. And so as you can see here, I do have kind of the better players there, but I didn't really, like I said, I didn't go after PSG. I didn't go after Marseille, who were the two better teams in the league. But I wanted to kind of work my way up. And I did that through the streaks. Like I said, I got up to the 4th streak. The 5th streak in limited pays $1,000. And I had an opportunity to win that a couple game weeks ago. Failed miserably, basically just because of kind of a lack of decisives. And actually, I may as well just pull it up here since we're talking about it. It was game week 23. So game week 22 was actually a midweek that I was not going to play, and decided at the last minute, kind of expecting rotation, but didn't. And as you see here in this team A, all the way here, I finished 7th in Division 1, won $126. That was boosted a little bit, plus the $200 from my streak. And that got me into the ability to compete for the 5th streak. You can see it's a Toulouse stack with Guella Doué from Strasbourg. And I was flying. And frankly, I actually had 2 lineups hit the 420 mark that I needed to get there. This is the Strasbourg stack with a Romain Del Castillo. So I went into that weekend needing 460 points. Didn't even get to 400 in any of my lineups here. I brought in a Vitinha, I brought in Lucas Chevalier, and part of the reason I did that, Lille had an excellent matchup home against Angers, but the goalkeeper got hurt, and it was questionable if he was going to play. And I kind of had this advice of, if you're going to go for the top streak for $1,000, it might be worth getting a few more players. Now you'll notice I have a Hakimi rare in there. That is a card I've had for a while, but I thought this would be my best shot. Chevalier, Hakimi, and Vitinha home against Nice, Matias Fernandez Pardo of Lille, and then Aaron Donham home against Le Havre. Didn't work out. It happens. As you can see here, I had a Kvaratskhelia 100. I have him classic as well. I couldn't play that here because I have the classic Hakimi. But anyway, I was competing for $1,000 in a league I was having a lot of fun with, and I've now expanded on the cards that I have. And it's, like I said, it's a competition that I'm having fun in. And so the next thought that I had was, do I play rare competitions? Do I get a bunch of rare cards and go after the rare streaks and see if I can kind of follow the similar path in rare? And I host a show on the Sorare channel, YouTube and Twitch channel every Monday called the Sorare Spotlight. And in that show, I usually go through the winning lineups for each competition. And one of the things that always sticks out to me every game week is how different the lineups are that you need to win limited competitions versus rare, and particularly in super rare. That when it comes to super rare, you don't always have to have the perfect lineup like it feels like you do in limited and to an extent rare. And part of that is just the scarcity of the cards. There aren't 1,000 Vitinhas available, or more if you count the classics. And the same thing kind of is happening at the rare level. And so I start looking at the lineups that win in super rare competitions, and they just look more attainable from a player perspective. Now, that doesn't mean that the PSG stacks aren't going to just crush when they go off, but there are situations where you look at the lineups and you think, man, that the lineup itself makes sense, but it's just not something that most people would build towards. And so I started to get interested in this idea of building super rare Ligue 1 lineups. And so I've taken the steps to get a super rare Ligue 1 lineup together. My first lineup is going in for this upcoming game week, which is coming after an international break. And I've already kind of hit the highs and lows of playing super rare. So it started off by acquiring this Maxime Lopez and Brendan Chardonnay in a deal from somebody who had crafted the cards but didn't play Ligue 1 super rare competitions with super rare cards. They play them mostly with uniques. If you're familiar enough with Sorare, you probably know who I'm talking about. But it allowed me to start moving in the direction of putting a lineup together. So because I had that Chardonnay, I'm usually pretty adamant about combining a goalkeeper and defender. So I went out and got Radoslav Majecki there, who's actually on loan this year. And I was quite confident. I had I was able to work on a couple deals. I was going to get actually a different forward, but I did want this Jan Boho from Toulouse. That's a classic card because I have these other super rare cards, although you'll notice that 2 of them are goalkeepers. And the reason that's the case is because Majecki came out of the international break with a knee injury. And I literally have never played super rare Ligue in season, and I already had to deal with a goalkeeper injury. And so I went out literally earlier today and bought the backup off instant buy. Thankfully, I had a couple market credits, not that much, but at least moving forward, the idea is that hopefully one of them will start and we'll know ahead of time, and I'll play them every week, because I'm not going to be able to budget-wise get 4 lineups like I do with limited. Rare, maybe I would get up to 4. And so I basically have 1 shot every week. And the benefits of super rare, or the biggest benefit, is if I score the most points in a game week, I finish first and I win the highest prize. There are no divisions in super rare. And so if everything comes together, I'll be able to get the biggest benefit from that. Now, you are probably noticing here that because it's 2 goalies, I really only have 3 in-season cards. Let's call it Lopez, Chardonnay, and I think Cooter is going to start this week, but we'll see. So those are the in-season ones. You're allowed to have a classic super rare, which I have here with Jan Boho. And as part of this endeavor, I purchased my first unique card, which is this Adrian Thomason, who plays for Lens. I've never purchased a unique card, but he's a very good player. He's exactly the type of player that I go after. He's leading the league in chances created, and I believe Lopez is second or in the top 5. And those are just the types of players I tend to focus on with So Rare because of their AA averages. And so going into this game week, this upcoming weekend, I have this super rare lineup that is ready to go. And the top prize, as you can see, is $4,000. I'm not arrogant enough to think that I'm going to finish in first place the first week, but it would be fun. And I like the idea that I'm competing for that top prize every time I submit a lineup. And the number of people who are competing is also very much smaller. As you can see, we have 17 hours left before the deadline and only 127 people, or excuse me, 127 lineups. And again, I'm not saying this is easy. I need certain things to happen. I'll need Brest to get a clean sheet, Lopez to have a good game away to Lille, and then Boho and Thomason are at least at home against Angers and Strasbourg, respectively. I think the matchups are good for this weekend. I didn't buy all of this just for this weekend, but I feel like I'm going to be competitive in this first weekend. And I'm just hoping that I can hit on the leaderboard a couple times. As you can see here, the top 20 win cash. 16 through 20 get $150. There are essence payouts below that, as well as XP, which I can always use. And it's just a raise in stakes that I am excited about. And it's something that I haven't really done in a while. And I had spoken previously on a bunch of other content that the card acquisition strategies of the game are much different when you play it super rare versus limited. Not everybody wants to sell the super rares that they have, whereas in limited, it feels like you can always find a seller. And so I was looking for higher stakes, and I'm doing it right here in Ligue on super rare and unique competitions. So if you think I'm crazy, feel free to leave that comment below. I'm happy to hear it. It's a big jump, and I realize that I don't have streaks available like I would if I had just gone from limited to rare, but it feels like the upside prizes in super rare, along with the fewer number of people I have to compete with, plus the ability to use that Thomason unique as kind of an in-season super rare. So if I wanted to do this again next season, I only have to buy 3 in-season super rares to compete. And I'm filming this on November 20th, so I obviously waited a little while before to let prices come down. So it's not as expensive as it could have been at the beginning of the season, but I think this is a worthwhile strategy to attack a competition in a league that I've grown to really enjoy, and I'm really looking forward to it. So if you have any questions or comments, feel free to leave them below. I'm happy to discuss it. If this is something that you have thought about doing or are thinking about doing or are doing or have done, I'd love to hear from you as well. Maybe I'm in over my head, or maybe I'm now ready to take on this challenge, and I'm excited for this weekend. Hopefully I can do another video talking about how successful this has been. But otherwise, my expectation is not to win every single week. Obviously, that's with one lineup and from different players and different teams that'll have different matchups each week. That's unrealistic, I know. But hopefully I can chip away over the course of the season and finish positively with the experience, with ROI and all of that, to keep going again next season. So anyway, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoy this type of content, I'd love it if you subscribe to the channel. And I do run a Patreon as well, supports all of the content I do. It's called the Laird Social Club. The link is in the description of this video. You could also just go to patreon.com/Andrew M. Laird for that. And yeah, that's it. Anyway, thank you so much for watching, and please make sure you get outside.